Hello, friend. Before we dive in, please note I am not a licensed therapist, counselor, or certified life coach. I'm just someone who's lived through a lot, learned some powerful lessons the hard way, and now feels called to share what I've gained. While I do bring on guests who may have formal credentials, my role here is to hold space for honest stories and real conversations. You may hear from people with different religious, political, or personal beliefs than your own. That's part of what makes this space so special. If we stay open-minded, then we can learn from each other's perspectives and experiences and all come out the better for it. My hope is that this podcast helps you feel seen, connected, and empowered to keep growing. Okay, good morning to everyone. This is Riley Goree, who is a new friend of mine and one that I'm very excited to have met.
Yes.
Making a difference in my life personally. Lots of physical challenges that you've challenged me with that I never would have challenged myself with, and the way that you push me has been fantastic, and I'm just super excited about now that I have this information, being able to share it with others. And that's my whole mission with this podcast, and what I'm doing is I want to support other women who are female entrepreneurs and have a heart for other women. And you exemplify that. So,
well, I appreciate it. And you've done so great, and it's been so nice to get to meet you. I think we're very like-minded in how we approach things. And that's all that we really have to do, you know, as women, is be supportive. There's so much negativity in the world as it is, and
Absolutely.
We're always tearing each other down. It's good to find a group of people that will build you up. And I feel like, you know, when you came to Prime, and that's the whole... That is the atmosphere that I wanted there, was just people that were going to be positive, build each other up, support each other.
You've done it.
And it's never, you know, there's no judgment. I mean, because that's not what it's about.
No. Mm-mm.
It's not about that. And I mean, it's not even about how you look. It's about how you feel. How you feel when you walk out of there.
Yes.
So let's just be honest. As we get older, the vanity part of exercise goes away.
Absolutely.
Yes, we all want to look good.
Yeah.
But we're getting to an age where it's critical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, physical activity is critical for keeping the muscles moving, the joints, balance. I mean, it's just so important.
Absolutely.
Like, it just, like I said, the vanity part goes
out the window.
Out the
Yeah.
window. I mean, ultimately, that's what I started. I mean, there's a whole reason that I started doing what I do is because of vanity. You know, like, let's see, when I was in Auburn, I gained, oh man, way over the freshman 15.
Oh, did you?
Oh,
okay.
yeah. It was
You
probably...
don't look like the body type that would have done that. Okay.
Well, let me tell you,
Yeah.
I'm from Greenville, Alabama, and we lived, like, in the country, right?
Okay.
So, fast food and all really wasn't which is great, you know, I'm very thankful now for it.
Right.
But when I went to Auburn, and everything was right there, you know, it could be delivered.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know how freshmen are in college, you know, I was partying a little bit, and just not taking care of myself. So when I went home that summer, after my freshman year, I felt just terrible about myself.
Okay.
So I started kind of working out a little bit, walking. That's really what it was. Watching what I was eating. And then when I went back,
had you been a physical person at all, like during your high school years? Were you athletic?
Well, I did basketball, but that was in junior high. I danced.
Okay.
So I did do that.
Okay. Well, that's another thing we have in common. I was on the dance team in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the only sport. No sports for me. But dance team, I did dance team, so yeah. You know, I will say, I do think that if you did sports, in any kind of sports when you're younger, encourage all parents to try, you know, whether your kid is an athlete or not, because my son turned out to not be an athlete. He ended up wanting to be in the band instead. Mm-hmm. But I think there's so much to be said for what you learn through sports.
Yes.
And how, when you go away to college, you might deter from it, but you know, and you'll come back to it, you know, later. Yeah. And so you did know that you needed to move again. Yes. And that you needed to get that body Yeah.
back then. I mean, and
Yeah.
that, you know, that's the thing that I try to really drive through my kids. You know, I don't care what sports you play. And we've
Right.
tried all of them. You know, I have 3 sons. One's 14, one's 12, and one's 10. And they're all 3 different.
Yeah.
You know, my middle one loves theater, and that's what he does. But he'll, you know, he'll sign up for soccer, and he plays goalie.
Yeah.
I don't care what sport you do.
Right.
Just something.
Just something.
We need something to
it matters.
have the focus.
So you jumped ahead of me a little bit and told me how you got into what you do, and then we got off track for a second because I knew we were going to do that because that's how we are. It's really hard for us to stay on track. I actually have a list for us. So I want to backtrack just a little bit, and you tell exactly. You said you were partying, you know, doing the typical college freshman type things, and you gained more weight. You came home, you felt bad, you started walking, and then what happened next?
So then when I started back to Auburn my sophomore year, one of my friends, it was a roommate actually, she took me to a Les Mills body pump class. She's like, "Why don't you come to this class with me?" And I said, "Okay, that's." Yeah, well, let's give it a try. Because I was doing videos at home.
Okay.
And trying to get in what I could. So I went in there, and group fitness just changed my life. It just, I mean, I could barely walk out of the class. I was shaking so badly.
Right.
I was like,
so
what
can you remember that when you see me leaving CrossFit? Okay.
I remember the feeling like it was yesterday. And it just made a difference in how I felt. So I joined the gym there, and I met just a great group of ladies. I mean, and I started working out I was doing the 5:30 class and then going to my 8 o'clock classes. But so that was an older group of women.
Okay.
And I met them, and we created relationships. I mean,
because nobody in that college age was
few and far between that were getting up that early.
Very rare for someone to be getting up to that early before classes and going, because we are in the South. And I talked about this with my last guest who owns a place in Alex City, and one of her main focuses is getting rid of toxins in like your laundry detergent and all that kind of stuff, and all the things that we can do more natural to support the way our bodies were designed to work. And the challenge that it is to reach the market, because when you're advertising something, you know, you only have the percentage of the market that needs your services. And so you're trying to get to them. Well, if that percentage is already only like 10%, and typically it is for our area, you know, when you live in a more metropolitan area, even though, you know, the numbers of the population goes up, you think, oh, well, of course the gyms are more crowded, because no, it's actually the more education and money in an area, the more people are in a gym. Okay. And so that is unfortunate, because that means the information is being kept from people who could use it to escape the reason the information is being kept from them. Okay.
Yeah.
So this information is worth gold. You know, this, you know, physical fitness and diet information that is being put out here, you know, and that sort of thing. And so, it's very rare for our area. We are behind the times with, getting the information to people. And, you know, one of the things when we were getting ready for this, I asked you about, what do we need to make sure we cover? And one of the things that came up was about the different ages of people that come to the classes, because I think a lot of times we only think of, you know, a certain age group needing it, but we're talking about how important it is, how we know it's important for our kids, you know, that we need to start young with talking about getting physical and being physical, and the connection between that and diet, which I'm going to get into later. But anyway, so you're at school, you're in college, and you start taking an early morning class, and you're in the top 1% of, you know, you're the youngest person in the class, you know, and so then what continues to happen?
Well, it just, you know, I formed those relationships, which is ultimately what, you know, group fitness is about, is forming those relationships, having somebody hold you accountable, cheering you on. And that's what I found there. And I was like, well, this is pretty cool. But I also liked the mental state that the working out put me in.
Yes.
Coming to find out, late diagnosis of ADHD. Well, I'm connecting all the pieces as I grow in this last year. I think it really helped with anxiety.
Yes.
It gave me something to focus on. And just the movement. I can tell to this day, I can tell when I start getting really agitated.
Yeah.
It means I haven't done
enough physical exertion.
Right.
Same.
Yeah. And I'll just start to get really angry.
Yes.
And everybody's like,
yeah.
what's wrong with you?
Right.
I mean, I know. I know.
Yes. We're learning how to listen to what those emotions mean instead of, and we're going to come back to this too. I know where this conversation's going. So, so we talked about what led you to start, how you got into physical fitness. So you were taking the classes and stuff. Did it cause you to change your major to shift over to that?
It did. I was in pre-nursing. I had pre-med kind of courses going. And then when I just saw the change in my body and my mental state and just overall wellness, I mean, it borderline became an obsession. That's another thing. We'll go into the ADHD thing, but anyway, so I went and I was like, well, this is kind of cool. And one of my sorority sisters was like, well, my major is exercise science. And I said, I didn't even know that existed.
Okay.
And so went and talked to my counselor, got everything changed over. So I was at Auburn from August of 2001, and I didn't finish until May of 2006 because I went in and changed, which was fine. I minored in human development and family sciences. But then when I finished with exercise science, I was kind of like, all right, now what? You can be a personal trainer, or I could have gone on and gotten my master's in exercise phys, become a teacher. But I was still kind of like, well, if the economy starts lagging, personal training is probably going to, that's going to be one of the first things.
Okay, because it's a luxury. What it really should be a necessity, but most people consider it a luxury. They don't understand how it needs to be prioritized, and so it is one of the first things to go. I agree.
Yes, and so there just wasn't that stability in my mind. So that's what kind of led to going into physical therapy, and I was like, gosh, I don't know if I have it in me for 3 more years of school.
Okay.
So talking to the same person that had kind of geared me towards exercise science, they were like, well, there's a program that's for a PTA. You can become a PTA and get your license, and you work under a therapist, and so that's kind of how it all trickled into physical therapy.
Okay. All right. So that's the degree that you have. And tell me about what other certifications and licenses that you have, because I know you've cultivated this through the years since then.
It's
so whether
growing.
The things that I know you've had a lot of, you don't have to talk because we could probably be here all day talking about all of them that you've accrued, but what are the ones that you promote now and are related to the services that you offer?
I'm NASM certified in personal training and certified nutritional coach through NASM.
Okay.
I'm working on my wellness coach through them as well, certification for it. And then I have 6 Les Mills certifications in the different classes that they offer. And then I'm level 1 CrossFit.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's just...
So there's more levels to the CrossFit?
Right.
Holy smokes.
I know.
I can't even. Okay.
And CrossFit it's new to me. I did not bring it on to Grab Fitness until when was it? January.
Yeah.
And I was real hesitant on it because the only
Did somebody talk you into it?
Well,
and is his name Daniel?
Daniel. Everybody's like, well, Daniel does this. I said, Daniel's 20 years younger than all of us.
Or did you come across it? Did somebody talk you into it?
It had been in my head for a little while. Brian Dix, who was an OBGYN here in Alex City for a little while, he recently moved to Mobile. He and I became pretty good friends. And he'd always mention it to me because I think it was something that he really enjoyed doing.
Okay.
Well, I had several people along the way do it. And from a therapy standpoint, when I was working in outpatient, I would see injuries from CrossFit. So I had a negative vibe in my head already.
Okay, right, yeah. And I can see how you would see injuries with it. I could
Yes.
see, especially if somebody came in with like new to everything and decided to start like a crazy person with that instead of, something smaller when you learn proper form with exercises, slower pace, and like all
And
of
get
that.
into it.
Get into it slower, definitely, I could see that. So that was your hesitation with starting it, and then
Yes.
you just decided to go ahead and offer it. And it looks like it's pretty popular based on, I've only been with you maybe about 6 months now, probably. And so, but the classes that I've started going to, I guess, over the last couple months, look to be pretty, good sized classes. So it looks like it's pretty popular.
It's definitely growing, and what I had to do was really, because I had the same mindset on it too. These are bigger people lifting bigger weights, heavy, pushing it to the extreme, and that's not what it is. When I went through and I got the certification, and I saw the functionality of the movements that they do, because there's something you don't think about doing all that often,
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're having adults bear crawl,
Yeah.
but I mean, that's a functional
Oh yeah.
thing.
I can tell you. So I've been going to the gym consistently for about 4 years, maybe getting closer to 5. And all of the things that I thought, about going to the gym, so many things that I've had to unlearn wrong thinking so that I can learn right thinking. So I'm very much a competitive person, not with other people, but with myself. I very, very much love to do something I've never done. A PR, oh my gosh, that's like, if I hit a PR on something, I can live. I don't even have to eat for the next 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, live off of that, right? That's
It's just pushing yourself.
And so I started going to the gym and really working hard in the gym. Like, I can do some pretty impressive weights on machines and that sort of thing. However, I do not like cardio. Cardio is really hard for me. I don't, I sweat so easily and so profusely. That's one of the reasons that I don't like it. But also, I don't like it just because it's hard for me, and it's going to keep being hard until I do it enough. And I know this because going to the gym teaches you this.
It does.
It's hard until it's not, right? Like, I know this. And that's why I keep coming. I keep coming to CrossFit, even though there are times like Friday. It was a very challenging day, especially cardio wise, because there was a lot of things that you had to move from one activity to the next one really fast, and you needed to get 3 to 4 rounds for it to be true,
Right.
whatever the word is for that. But I could only make it to 2 in the right amount of time. Now, some people say just go on and finish the 3rd round, no matter how long it takes you. But I'm trying to do what I can. I'm limited on my time, which is, a lot of people use that as an excuse to not go because they have a short amount of time. But I'm going to force myself, like if I'm doing something super intense like that, even if you do short bursts, it's very impactful on your health, right? Yes. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing the amount of time as much as I can push myself to do without hurting myself, because it's important that I'm able to keep working.
Yes.
Yeah. Come on, I need to stay in shape to keep physically working, and my job is physically taxing. So I'm doing that, but also, so that I don't hurt myself and not come back so that I can't get stronger. I will push through this if I keep showing up. And so I think it's really important to get people to understand that.
It is. And that's a stimulus. Like the time frame is given as a stimulus, and that is to kind of just get you to, push yourself a little bit harder. Nobody's there. You're not going to get yelled at if you don't get it. No. You're not going to get fined. It's just to kind of get your mind wrapped around something to challenge yourself.
Absolutely.
And I don't care if people go overtime and they want to continue. That's fine. And I can't. I mean, I stress it all the time. If you got too much weight on your bar, I mean, if you feel it and And that's what I'm trying to make people more aware of, and that's why my cues are so similar all the time. Shoulders back, tummy tight. I mean, it's the same ones over and over again. And like, I even want people to hear them throughout the day.
Yeah.
Brace the core. You
yes.
know? But if they feel like their technique is slipping, and I will go over to somebody and be like, we got to back it down. Yeah. And it's fine.
It's okay.
I would rather you do it with correct form.
Yes.
Than bust out the RX weight.
Yes.
And hurt yourself, or not, because you're not getting the same benefit out of that exercise if you're not doing it correctly.
Right.
You might not get hurt, but you're still not getting the same. You know?
Right. So I would say that's probably the most challenging class you have, right?
Right now, yes. I mean, everything's
What's
challenging
close
to a degree. Well, I'm rolling in all these other ones.
Okay. So let's talk about your new classes that you got coming up and what you like about them.
So I did Unleashed on Friday.
Okay.
And that was more of a station. So you had 4 exercises each station, and the people rotated, and you did 3 rounds through. Okay. And it was pretty challenging, and I think it's going to really get the mental aspect in it too, because people are having to think. You know, a lot of the Les Mills ones, I'm up in the front, you know, coaching, you're just following me. And I love that. Yeah. They were my favorite programming for a long, long time. This gives me more of a freestyle setup. So, like, all the CrossFit ones that we did.
So everyone's moving at their own pace? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
There's kind of a set time, but it's not a, you know, switch. Okay. Wild card is tomorrow, and that's going to be kind of fun. I'm going to pull, one of the things I'm going to do is pull a card out, and whatever suit it is will be a certain exercise, and whatever number's on, you'll do that. So just kind of make it fun. Yeah. But I think the CrossFit workouts that I did this past week, I came up with. Since I'd started, I'd just done the affiliate and pulled it from the website. Okay.
Well, I really enjoyed that workout on Friday. It really challenged me. I felt the right amount of soreness. You know how you're a little sore, you know that you worked something, but not so sore you can't do anything.
Yeah. Falling back on the toilet seat.
Yeah. Not that sore. So that was good. So, okay. So those are your new classes. And I know there's several businesses that you have that are intertwined in one, right?
Yes.
So what are they again?
So we have Plasma by Peta.
Okay.
She's in there, and she does, the plasma pinning, and then she does permanent makeup. And then we have Jessica Ader in there with, like, Martin Tan Bar. Okay. So spray tans. And then, let's see, Aurora IV and Wellness. Okay. So you just come in you can book online. It is she does the weight loss shots, any kind of IV with the vitamins and medications if you need added. So that's been a really good addition to.
Yeah. So I was going to come to that later, but now seems like a good time since we're talking about that business that's in with you. So one of the questions that I put out on my social media that I was going to be interviewing you, and what kind of questions, if anyone had anything that, maybe I wasn't thinking of, that the general population wants to know. And the only question I got back was actually, what about how important are supplements and things like creatine and other like pre-workout? Like, what do you recommend? How important is it? And is it relative to your diet or your age or both? Or talk a little bit about that.
So supplements and all is kind of something that I'm learning as well as we go. It's kind of trial and error, doing some research. Because I carry Thorne products, and I researched them for 2 years, and they're clean.
Thorne? How do you spell that?
Thorne. Thorne. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah.
They offer creatine, and it's a crazy amount of different stuff. But you got your protein powders, your creatine, magnesium. There's a pre-workout, multivitamins. Sometimes I get in the loop of because there's so much out on social media.
So much.
And just on the internet.
Totally overwhelming.
Very overwhelming. And so I felt like I was spending all this money on these supplements. I was sitting there having to take, 20 pills to get everything I needed. Mm-hmm. So with the IV hydration, this is what I've turned to. Okay. I get an IV every week, once a week, with vitamins and minerals.
Okay.
And because it doesn't have to go through your digestive system, it's having more an impactful,
So you can get this shot once it's an IV shot.
It's an IV.
It's an IV. I mean,
Yeah, it
not
takes about
a
30
shot.
minutes.
I mean, it's an IV, and you're sitting there. Once a week. There's enough vitamins and minerals that course through your system for an entire week that your body has everything it needs for a week.
That is my understanding.
Okay.
And like I said, this is still.
I'm going to interview her later.
Yes.
So we'll make sure later.
Absolutely.
But I just want a general understanding so that if I decided I wanted to do this, that this is what I would eliminate my 5 to 10 minutes every morning that I'm sitting there choking down supplements. And I would just sit down one time that week for 30 minutes and maybe even take a little nap while I'm
we got a massage chair.
You're sitting in a massage chair and you're getting that. And it's everything I would need. I wouldn't have to take any more.
I haven't taken anything else. I'm sure you could add in a little bit more if you wanted to. Like, I'm a big believer in magnesium. Okay. So if you wanted to add that in, you've got to watch creatine because of the kidneys.
Okay. So, what do you mean by you got to watch it? Tell me more
just
about
the
that.
amount that you put in. There's so much that factors into it. I think age factors into it. I think any kind of other health issues that you have factor into it. Any other medications. I mean, because everything, it's
all relative and it's all perspective.
Yes. And so I found that protein powder, I can't do it.
Really?
Yeah. Tore my stomach up.
Really?
I mean, and not like in a tear, like pain.
Okay.
And once I cut that out, I was fine. Okay. But it just told me that was too much, and that's fine. Everybody's different.
Right. Listen to your body.
Listen to your body. When I was going through, and this has just been recent, when I was going through, well, I need to get this supplement and this supplement, I need to eat this amount of protein because I'm away if I want to get this. It became too overwhelming. I mean, because it's one of those things that you set a goal and you don't reach it, then you get upset with yourself.
It's defeating. It's self-defeating.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? This is too much. I was feeling bloated. I just was not feeling good because I was eating so much to try to get all the protein in. And I said, I'm going to cut back. I'm going to eat when I'm hungry. Yeah. I'm going to do these IVs for this. And I've felt great ever since. You just got to listen to your body.
Absolutely.
When I give nutrition advice, I just say eat as clean as you can.
Yes.
Don't.
We try to make it so complicated. Yeah.
It's not a diet. It's just a lifestyle change. When you label it a diet, it drives me crazy when you go out and you order something that's healthy.
Yes.
That's just a whole food.
Right.
And people are like, well, you must be dieting.
No.
I'm not dieting.
No.
This is just this
fuel.
Food.
This is fuel. Yeah.
Because I'm not eating.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but we go back to the education part.
And it's kind of funny whenever you go out to eat with people and you're eating something like, I'm getting something salmon that is, incredible flavor, incredible taste, and a vegetable that is just, and buttery garlic sauteed, and it's just, and someone is sitting next to me eating something that's fried in seed oils, and first of all, I'm not judging them because I only learned at the seminar, at the wellness retreat that we had, I didn't know what a seed oil was before that retreat. So I'm not judging anyone for not knowing and also even for not eating it, even if you know, because since I've known that, I've still consumed it quite a bit. Now I'm mindful of it, so I've had quite a bit less.
Right.
So even just knowing, plants to seed, and I'm slowly, I definitely don't have any in my house, so I'm not cooking with anything like that. But is it, where I eat, sometimes I have to, and, you have to, this is life, and we're going to be put in situations where we have to. But every little change makes a big difference. And I was talking to, one thing that I've learned since being a massage therapist is how often I have to say, well, I'm not a nutritionist or I'm not, allowed to diagnose, but if it were me, I would try an anti-inflammatory diet. If I had, I'll probably, if I had $1 for every time I say that, I would probably make more than I make off the massages. You know what I mean? Because I have to say that so often, but I wouldn't believe it and preach it like I do if I had not experienced it in my body. Like I have done clean eating, like true clean eating, where you have no dairy, nothing packaged or processed, no sugar, no alcohol, no certain starches, and even like
Whole 30.
Yeah, Whole 30, like no strawberries because they might have mold, no peanuts because there are no legumes, so therefore no peanut butter. I've like done those for even as long as 100 days to try to do a candida cleanse, because as an esthetician, I know that a lot of our skin reactions are related to yeast, mold, dairy, sugar. So you have to do an elimination diet. So Whole 30 was an easy way for me to start the process to figure out like what bloats me and what, it was my elimination diet. Plus it was at the beginning of me toying with sobriety, the idea of sobriety, because I couldn't wrap my head around never drinking again, because oh my God, what would I do if I, had a something happened stressful and I needed a drink, right? So that was my mindset then. But I wanted my face to be clear so I could be a credible esthetician. And I wanted, so the vanity did, start that. But what I didn't anticipate as a fringe benefit of going those like 30, 60, 90 days without those things was the mental clarity that came with all of that, and how different you think. Like, it was the beginning of me learning how to have healthy coping skills, because during those times when I would get stressed out, I couldn't go have a drink. So,
Because
it was off the table, so I had to think of something else. I would journal, or I would go for a hike or a run or whatever, move my body, because that has been, I would say that's been the key to my sobriety, which where I guess we're moving on. I'm slowly delving into this topic about our sobriety here. Okay. So, both of us have had very public and open struggles with addiction. Mine, it was alcohol more than anything else. Now I dabbled in a little of anything. Once I was drinking, someone would put something out there, and I was just very much reckless in my, disease and the way that my disease worked, made me very self-sabotaging and very, so it's been a very public and open battle with getting sober, why I chose to get sober, how I stayed sober. I've tried to really help people with tips and advice, without enabling, because, or without when I say enabling, I don't mean like the people that would come to me for any of that would be asking me to enable them in the way of they needed money or anything like that. I mean more in the way of allowing someone to put their excuses about why they're drinking out there, and not being brave enough to use my voice to speak my truth about how I feel about what they're saying.
Right.
So I want to give you a little bit of time to talk about, what your battle's been like, and what made you decide to get sober, and that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, looking back on it, it was always kind of, it was always an issue. I don't think I could really ever control it when I went out. It was always alcohol for me.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there was, that was it. It was just it. And it would just be to, the point where I would drink until I would pass out or black out. And, like starting that in college, you just the same, because there's so much partying in college.
Absolutely.
For a lot of people.
Absolutely.
I'm not speaking for everyone.
Yeah.
So I just assumed, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But it didn't get to a point of debilitating me, because I was still getting up during the week. I would do that on the weekends.
So you were a high functioning. Okay.
So I would get up on the weekend. That would happen on the weekends.
Okay.
During the week, back on my schedule. Working on the 5:30 a.m. classes.
So no one else knew you had a problem? Not really.
Not at that. not at that stage.
And you probably wouldn't even say it was a problem per se, because it was manageable.
Right.
You just do it on the weekends.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just starting a little bit of a.
Yeah, I think just kind of where it just started, maybe changing the pathways in the brain.
Neurologically. Okay.
And then, God, the anxiety on like Sundays. This is what they call the Sunday scaries.
Yeah.
After you've gone out.
Yeah.
I mean, those were awful. But I would have, roommates that would go out every night of the week.
Every night.
Mm-hmm.
I went out every night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's crazy to me that I could cut it off.
Right.
And not go with them but that's where working out took so much. That was my focus.
Yes.
And that's where like the importance of how it changed my life, because that, I could have been a shit show.
Absolutely.
Had I not had that thing to
that,
focus. You know what I mean? Like, it would have gone downhill way fast.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely, it would have.
But then, got married right out of college. I was in PTA school. I worked as a PT tech when I was in PTA school in Montgomery, and I would work from 7 until 4, go straight from there to school.
Okay.
Until like 9. So
yes,
I had that to focus on. So so yet again, saying weekends.
You didn't have too much idle time, so it kept you from having enough time.
Right, it wasn't all up in here.
Yes,
it's been external.
Yes, and you only. It's interesting to note that the only time that you allowed yourself to do that was the weekends, and you didn't have to be coherent. So you allow, like, that was your way, like you didn't have the ability to allow yourself to relax unless you were drinking.
Right.
Yeah. It's still something you got to go do. It's a job.
Yeah.
Go be with your friends. Do the thing you're supposed to do. It's the weekend. Do it, Riley. Get busy. Yeah. Get busy.
Yeah.
Come on.
Be social. Let's do all
when you're
things.
Relaxing, even when you're having fun, be busy. Yeah.
And it's definitely been a journey, and we got married, and we were in Birmingham, and then I've had the 3 kids, and they're 2 years apart, and I worked up until we had our second one. I started staying at home, and it was fine. I would drink wine at night, but I was around a group of, and that's what moms did.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's very, I think probably the hardest part of me quitting alcohol, because I really wanted to be the kind of person who could socially drink. And being the type of person that I am, like I said earlier, I compete with myself. And I want to always beat my best, and if I can do all of these other hard things that other people give me, attention and adoration for, why can't I do this? It has been the most frustrating, hardest thing for me to accept, that it is a disease that I cannot control, that it was an all or nothing thing for me. And so when did you realize that you had a problem, and that it had, because it sounds very much like you either had to, you didn't know when to stop either. Because I either didn't drink, because I was also high functioning. I knew my goal-oriented personality kept me from being to the point to where other people knew I had a problem. Most people, when I quit drinking, 90% of people said, I didn't even know you drank, or I didn't know you had a problem, because either they were not the type of people who were in bars or places where I was doing my partying, they were not drinkers, or it was because they only saw me during the week. And I was able to, compartmentalize it and know, okay, so I don't have to work Saturday and I don't have to work Sunday. So I can party, one of those days, one of those nights I can party and be off and be hungover the next day. But I would literally plan. This is how predictable I was. So like I would get up on Saturday morning, worked all week, get up Saturday morning, clean the house spotless, because I was going to drink that night.
And you knew you wouldn't be able to do anything else after.
On Sunday. I knew Sunday I needed to recover, so I would get it all clean, and then I would party, and then literally be just sick and hungover and whatever, and think that was a good trade-off.
Yeah.
And my messed up, you know, the way that my brain was functioning because of the way alcohol affected my brain. And it doesn't do everyone like that. And so, and I knew that. And so I had been toying with this idea of sobriety for a long time. And literally what has kept me sober, there is 100% no way I would still be sober if I had not started challenging myself physically.
Yes. Yeah, I think, you know, I think a lot of people turn to it if you've followed some people, or if you know people a lot of times. But you've also got to watch it, because, you know, it's an addictive personality.
Yes.
Some people go from an alcohol addiction straight into like over obsessive exercise, where that becomes a problem too.
Absolutely, and I've done that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And
I've done that.
it's finding the balance, and you know, I mean, I knew that I had a problem. I don't know when. Something felt wrong, you know, way back when.
In what way? Like
I'm just like, surely to goodness, people, like, how are they able to remember? You know what I mean? Like,
recognizing that you were blacking out.
Right.
And realizing that that's...
Right, or passing out.
The fact that I can't remember means something's wrong.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be not remembering segments of my night. The night before. This is a problem. Okay.
And then, you know, we made the big move from Birmingham, Birmingham to Alex City, because Tom's from here, my husband. And that was just a total shift. And, you know, now that and we'll get to it, but how that I'm learning about myself, that's a lot. That was a lot to process. And coming here where we have both sets of grandparents, which is wonderful for my kids. But I'm very independent too. So I had a lot of
involvement that you didn't have before.
Yeah. And so
get used to
setting boundaries, we'll get to that too.
Yes.
It was something that I wasn't good at. Okay. You know, I was always a people pleaser.
Part of your escaping.
It was.
Yeah.
It was the only way I could shut it down.
Okay.
You know, or
my
husband and his family, they're very social people. They like to be around a lot of people. I'm more of an introvert now that I've kind of gotten to know myself. So I would I would drink to
socialize.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's no off switch.
Yeah.
And so then, you know, I have all these people being like, well, you have a problem, yada, yada, yada. And then I'll tell you, my personality also, you're not going to tell me I can't drink. Like, you're not going to tell me I can't do
has
something.
To be your idea. Always has to be that person's idea. It can never come from someone else.
No.
You can't want it for them. You can't shame a person. Logic, reason,
you can't.
correct. None of it. You cannot. If the more people, so I mentioned earlier that most people, 90% of the people, didn't even know I drank, right? Or that I had a drinking problem. The 10% that did know were close family and friends. And of course they were extremely supportive and encouraging and had been praying for me, you know, to get help. They recognized the issue that it was. But most people didn't. And so it does make it harder. The 10% that are, you know, privy to your struggle, you know, they're witnessing this and they're wanting to help you, but it is so hard for someone to do it correctly. I would say I probably had one or two family members who, if there is a right or wrong way, and really there's not, because this is such a delicate and sensitive thing, you know, the fact that you care enough to try anything is to be commended. Like if you have a loved one who is struggling with addiction and you care, and so you're just trying to even initiate a conversation with that person around it, kudos to you for trying a difficult thing. It's probably not going to work.
Right.
Not going to work. However, I'm going to say, you know, I'm proud of you for trying, because it does matter. I do remember the people who did very subtly try to get me to just think about it, you know, and ask me some very subtle questions or whatever that I'm very smart. Like that's one thing that my self-esteem has never struggled much with. I do feel like I'm, of average intelligence or better,
Yeah.
And so I know why they were asking that. And clearly, yes, I had a problem, but you can't, the more someone did that, there was always that little bit of backlash of that spirit of rebellion. It's strong in me, very, very strong in me, and I have to like really watch myself because I will cut my own nose off to spite my face.
Yep.
And
Okay.
and so yeah, I like can totally empathize with that. Don't tell me not to drink because I'm
Yeah.
it's gonna be I'm now gonna drink twice as much.
Yeah.
Thanks for
I
that.
mean, it
Now
was-
my hangover tomorrow is your fault. Thanks for that.
I would drink at somebody
Yeah.
so
Yes.
often
Yes.
because you've pissed me off, and here we go.
Yes. As self-sabotage. At its very root, we are self-sabotaging,
Yep.
Anyway, so your spirit of rebellion kept you from facing it for a while. It made you rebel against it, but then you finally decided that you were ready. Talk a little bit about when you finally decided you were ready for help and what that
Well,
process was like.
this goes, I would say probably a few weeks before I went, because I did go to treatment.
Okay.
I had to have that break.
Yes.
I had to remove myself from
The
the
environment.
environment.
Yeah.
But leading up to that, I passed out at a red light on 280.
Wow.
Ended up in jail for the night. Terrible experience. And you would have thought, that would have been the thing. But, inside you've got so much anxiety and you start beating yourself. There's so much shame and so much guilt. And at that point, the alcohol's only become the relief for it.
It's a
because
vicious
you
cycle.
don't know. Right.
It's the cycle.
But it's not, I wanted to feel like that.
No, it's a cycle. And I talked about this. This was my whole speech at the retreat because I talked about becoming mentally strong and staying strong for like a battle such as this. And the warrior spirit that has to rise up,
Yes.
inside of you, because the vicious cycle is so hard to stop because it's like a snowball and it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's harder and harder to melt because it gets so packed.
Yes.
The shame is the root. It is the root because we make these decisions, and then we go out. We make these decisions in private. But then we go out and we have public consequences for it. Your face with your picture on the front page. I've experienced that. You would have thought that would have been what it took. It wasn't, because I was so ashamed. That made, I started spiraling out of control after that happened. And then it was a nasty, like 8 years of torturing myself. There's self-sabotage is not a strong enough word for what I did, what I put myself through with, relationships. And, not just, I'm not saying because the relationship was where I got into one where someone didn't treat me properly. No, I'm saying a relationship I should have never even been in. I shouldn't have allowed that person to experience my consequences. I shouldn't have even been relationships have been the last thing on my mind. I couldn't even manage myself.
So that's bringing somebody else in.
Loving yourself, has to be, and you don't understand that because you're so busy in the spiral of shame and in this vicious cycle, and you're taking other people down with you and you don't even realize it. And so you decided you had that happen. That wasn't it. So what happened?
So, it really, when I was waking up in the morning and drinking, and I knew, I had conversations with my dad, especially, because he was like, Riley, you are not the Lone Ranger in this fight. And, he was like, don't you know what you're doing to your body? And I was like, I know exactly what I'm doing to my body.
Well
I'm
aware.
major.
Yeah.
It's what I've studied for years. I know. Real me knows, but tell it to tell it to the addictive side that's taking control.
Yeah.
That has the gears that is pushing forward. Because I'm going to tell you, I would walk. They would block me in where I couldn't get in my car, but I would walk to the store.
Yeah.
To get alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you know, true Riley is like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's the middle of the night.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right.
You could get hit by a car. Somebody could take you.
Yes.
You could get, I mean, all these things.
So I've heard this before, and I really believe this, that alcoholism or addiction is the only disease that convinces you don't have a disease.
Yeah, I could see that. You know,
because you will justify it and rationalize it. Like even your father, who you know loves you and has your best interest at heart, is telling you, and you're still rebelling against it. And you know that his heart is true for you.
Right.
You know, like, and there's no ulterior motive there. Right. So why am I not listening to my loved ones? Yeah. Why am I not? So you're going down this, and you're still, sabotaging yourself. So then what happens?
So I can't remember what day it was. I woke up. I wasn't showing up to work just because I was hungover or drinking. I mean, that's what it was. So I ended up losing that job. And had I been honest with them, they probably, because they had known me. They were people that I teched with. Yeah, they've known me for 20 years. They probably would have worked with. But, leading up to this, I'd opened 2 businesses. I'd opened the gym, the PT clinic, had 3 kids, was in school for my MBA. I mean, that was
totally overwhelming. Yeah.
So when the alcohol got in my system, when I would try to shut everything down, and you can't stop the alcohol, then those pathways are already like, I woke up one morning, and I'm not going to lie, I think I was drunk. Yeah. And I called somebody and I said, hey, I need the contact to, I got to do something. I'm sick and tired of it. Yeah. I'm thankful that God put me there. Do I like what it left, the pathway of destruction that I had on the way there? No. But, it's brought me to an understanding about myself. And so, like, going to treatment, and I was there for 90 days. My therapist said, one of the things is about your personality, and what's going to be bad with this disease is that you're not ever going to want to admit that it's bigger than you and you can't control it.
It is. It's really hard to admit there's something I can't control. Mm-hmm. Very, very hard. In fact, I had to leave this little bit of a little, I don't know what you'd call it, this little exception out there for my brain, to wrap my brain around staying sober. This is what I had to tell myself, because I can't allow something to be a you can never. You can't, I can't do it. So my thoughts are, okay, I'm going to stay sober until I'm in a position to where everything is good, and I have all of it, everything is in a really stable place, children, family, work, all the things. And I'm in a relationship with someone whom I totally trust, no ulterior motives. They love me, they care about me. And I would like to say that with that person, I could have a glass of wine with a salmon or, steak dinner or something, and allow them to tell me if I'm not able to stop at a second glass of wine, or if I become a different person, behave differently or whatever, that option is still there if I ever choose. And I want to try that maybe I have done enough shadow work and had enough therapy that I have worked through some of the issues that would be triggered when I was drinking. Yes. Because I do think that was part of why I would have some of the issues that I had when I was drinking, was because I also had so much emotional and mental cognitive work, therapy that needed to be done. And I was so easily triggered. I could control my triggers when I was sober, but when I would be drinking, all of that went out the window, and I was easily triggered and would react in these ways that I had to then apologize the next day for, because, I wasn't even in my right mind, didn't know I was doing it, completely blacked out. And that was how I knew I needed to stop. That was my final, I knew I had to say I'm sorry too often. Right.
Yep.
So that was my turning point, for me, and then, being physical gave me somewhere to direct all of that anxiety that I felt that led to, and the shame. There, because shame also can be rooted in a lot of like anger and a lot of rage. And the rage thing, the gym is fantastic for that. Like, people don't understand, like, that you could really, you could be doing something that, yes, you can take it to an excess. You do have to be careful. And I have to give Shauna Woodruff credit for this. Like, she recognized that I was, and this was one of the other things that I did want us to get to. But she recognized that for where I was at in my, age timeline, a menopausal woman working out with the intensity that I was pushing myself to, that I was doing more harm than good.
Yeah.
And so she helped me, wrap my head. I mean, like, literally, people don't understand, and they think this is kind of, I don't know how they undervalue it. They don't understand the value of a good personal trainer.
Yeah.
That when you are working with them, they're giving you, yes, you can go on YouTube, you can follow influencers, and I can get a program, I can get a workout,
Absolutely.
No problem, right? But is that person that I'm doing that with, are they going to sit with me in the locker room when I can't do a pull-up? So I am literally squalling my eyes out, beating myself up like a toddler that missed a home run, like a t-ball player, that missed the ball and is sitting out there crying in the dirt. Like, this is me. I'm acting like a toddler. And I'm crying, and it's real, and it's serious, and, it means so much, and that person is with you. And that's why whenever people are saying that they can just follow somebody, or they don't understand, I just I try to educate them on this part of it, how much it matters and what it means. Because if I had kept working out like that and pushing myself and being that hard on myself mentally and emotionally, I was going to break.
Yeah, you've taken the good out of it.
You've taken the good out of it. It was now causing me emotional distress. It was causing me physical duress. Like, I was pushing myself to a brink,
And you've got to be up and moving. You can't.
Yes, my job
tear
doesn't
your body down.
allow. That's not sustainable. And so having someone to help me, to tell me that look, you got to cut back to 3 days a week, because if you're,
she's great.
Like, and that's what you also are doing. Like, this is what people need to understand that you have to offer, is not just the workout and the place to do the workout and all the equipment and all the things like that and the support and the cheerleaders. It's not just that, but it's also this customized routine for you.
Right.
This customized, I'm learning you and what your emotional stressors are and how you respond and where you might need to dial it back here and then push yourself there. Because what I needed was a little bit less strain with the weight and a little bit more cardio to get some of the energy out, so that I could just sleep better and not hurt more. Like, hurt doesn't equal progress, and so so that's what people get when they get someone like you.
Yes, I mean, and it's, I have a couple of people that come there and they're like, it's just my therapy, and that's just literally, it's them talking about things that are going on. Because with the stuff that I have, in my past, I'm able to offer what I've gone through, and I'm pretty open about it. I don't hide it. I can talk you through some stuff, just get out. I can give you my opinion. And I think it's just, the body fascinates me in so many ways, and people will ask me for advice, and I'll give, I've been in therapy. I've seen things, I've experienced things. I'll have to be like, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
Like you're saying.
I said earlier. Yeah.
But this is what I do know, take it or leave
20 years of experience of seeing people with similar.
And I mean, here's the thing: people start texting me 5 a.m. They text me until 8. I mean, and it's just I'm having a down day, and they just want a little bit of motivation. But that's where you get, and not only that, when I look at somebody, I look at it as a whole. I'm going to ask you, what did you eat? How's your sleeping? What things are you doing through the day that might cause pain in the shoulder? Now, I don't know if that's from a therapy standpoint that it comes in, that I'm looking at it as a whole, but I'm also going to ask, what kind of stress have you been under? What's going on with work? Because everything is connected.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. You can't work physically and be a disaster mentally.
No.
It's not gonna.
And this was the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about is one thing that I learned many years ago in my Mary Kay career was how you have to your life is like a car with 4 tires, and those tires need to be equally aired up for your life to ride smoothly. Okay. And so like your one of those tires would be represented by like your financial or business career goals, right? And then one is your faith, your spiritual goals. And then one would be your family, what family goals do you have? And then one is personally just your personal and self goals. So that is how things have to be. If you don't have things in balance, then it is affected, like what you were talking about. And this is what you're doing checkups with people to ask them. And so I'm going to start. I had been listening a lot to Gary Brecka podcast, the Ultimate Human podcast, and I find him just very credible with the way that he looks at a balance of science and natural, because that's kind of where I fall, on that scale of I'm somewhere in the middle of someone who does, people who do things completely natural, and then some people who think that's all frou-frou and they go all Western medicine. I'm somewhere right in the middle. Well, I'll be very proactive with natural stuff. I try to be as proactive as I can be with natural stuff, and let medicinal stuff be a last resort, but do what research to be necessary to be done with that. And I do my own. I am my own wellness advocate and do my own research.
You have to be.
Regardless. But anyway, so listening to Gary Brecka, he has a closing question that he asks everyone. And I said, well, what do I want my closing question to be? And so I'm very much I love to hear about people's goals and their dreams, and I like to support them. And I think it's inspiring to hear other people's, for us to all listen, be telling people ours to hold ourselves accountable, but then also for us to listen to each other's, because we can inspire one another.
Absolutely.
So in closing, because I cannot believe how long we've already been talking, like, oh my God, like it's so easy and natural, that's been the most surprising thing about doing these podcasts is how long they go on. Like I always think, well, this one will be shorter, this one will be faster. It's not. Okay. Anyway, so what is a goal that you have for your business, or any kind of financial goal that you might have for this year?
Well, I would love to continue for the business to grow, for Prime Fitness to grow, and like Martin CrossFit to just build a community, because I want people to feel good about themselves. But I also want to educate.
Yeah.
I want to somehow, I've got the CrossFit Junior class going, so that's going pretty good. I would love to just do some kind of forum where we just education, whether it be nutrition, like some kind of free thing. So I'm toying with that.
That's a great idea. Perfect place to have it.
Yeah, and just something for
a little dream of that.
Right. Yeah, for the kids, the parents, just
that's fantastic.
Yeah. This year I just want to get all this gym equipment paid off.
Okay. All right.
That's the,
Yeah. All right. To grow the gym to a place where that's all paid for.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then your faith and your spirituality. Do you have any goals in mind for?
So, I feel each day it's growing and it's different. And I'll speak on this because it seems to be a good time. But, in my sobriety, could I have done it without, they say higher power, mine's God. But what I've noticed is I've kind of trickled away, and I'm probably going to get some backlash on it, from the AA group. Because to me, spiritually, to me to have to go in all the time and be like, hey, I'm an alcoholic.
Yes.
It
You don't
eats
want
at
that
me.
to be your identity.
It eats at me. That's
Yeah.
not who I am.
Right.
Did I have a problem with it?
Yes.
But it doesn't define who I am. And if I have to repeat it
over and over,
and then live through the shame of stories, all that, I felt it was eating away at me.
Right.
So spirituality and faith has grown tremendously.
Absolutely.
You know, financially, when I feel like we're not going to be able to pay a bill, somehow
it's
God provides a little check. It can be just something small, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, because losing the job and starting a business is hard.
It's very hard.
It's very financially. I mean, it is a 25-hour, 8 days a week. You know, I mean,
absolutely.
We're going past. You're never off.
You're never really off when you own a business. That's a fact. And I did want to mention, going back to your financial goals, I don't want to let this episode go by without mentioning our cute little outfits that we have on, that is your Prime gear.
Yes.
And I love that you branded on brand, and they're the greatest. I love this bra. I love
that's the one I
just sent. And the leggings. Are they Lululemon material?
They are. Yeah, I just ordered them. Got my brand. Honestly, I've had people say that they reach for their Prime wear more than they do their Lululemon.
I like it better as well, because to me it's like a cross between the Lululemon and the Aerie leggings that I have. Yes. So they're not they're not as thin as the Aerie, so I feel a little less young or exposed. I don't know what the right word is. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Appropriate for my age, that I'm wearing, which I don't do that at all. Like, I know I'm very inappropriate for my age, but stop. I do not care, okay? Because I just like it. I think it's cute. I'm going to wear it, okay?
Absolutely.
So, anyway, we got on the cute Prime gear.
Yeah.
And then we talked about your spiritual growth and your business goal. What about a family goal? Do you have a goal for yourself in relation to your family this year?
I've really tried to, since alcoholism and the addiction, and let's just be honest, ADHD is probably the root of everything that came to. I'm trying to just be more present with them. I mean, it can be little things. It's just conversations, just spending time with them, because I missed so much because I was all in here.
Yes.
Whether it be, you want to call it ADHD, whether you want to call it addiction.
Yes.
Getting out of here. So, looking back, and it makes me really sad. I can't remember some things. And it's not from being blackout. It just, there was so much going on in my head.
Yeah.
And I wasn't present in the time.
Survival mode.
Right. Because I was always looking ahead instead of living in the day. So my goal is just to be there for them. I was telling my mom this yesterday. I'm trying to not be so anal about things being in their place. Yes, I guess I lose my mind when I ask them to put things away 25 times.
I mean, yeah.
But I'm trying to not let that consume me.
Yeah.
To where I become, because I'm going to be sad when they're not there. Right. And I don't have the mess.
Yeah.
You're only given 18 years of it. And then you've got all this other time where you can keep your house clean.
Yes.
So I'm trying to focus on the day.
Be more present and more focused on the things that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that, because I think that's every mother, no matter where they're at, no matter you started out with saying because of the addiction you weren't or whatever. I think almost every mom, regardless of whether there was alcoholism or some people it's a work addiction and they shame themselves over the fact that they worked so much and they missed a lot of first or whatever. But we're all just doing the best that we can with the skill set that we have. And we're trying, if you are, listening to podcasts like this, that means that you're even trying, that you even have a mind to, listen to something about self-improvement, that you're planting a seed, or you're watering the seed, or you're, getting the weeds out from around the seed, or you're ready for your plant, that your plant has grown, you're nurturing it. And these are the things that we have to do. And once you've done all that and you've come through to the other side, now we're taking buckets of water back to those that are still being consumed by the fire.
Yep.
And so I love the openness and the, you talking about, how AA worked for you for a little while until it didn't work and it started, going backwards for you. Same thing with me. AA, it just didn't work for me. And it wasn't, a lot of people thought it was because of the faith aspect of it, because I'm very outspoken about some of the beliefs that I have don't always line up with some of the denominations beliefs or whatever, and I'm very much about total inclusion, and so that alienates me sometimes, and so sometimes people thought that was why, but no, it wasn't actually. It was the constant hearing the stories, and while it is therapeutic to a person that needs a place to unload those stories, and so if you don't have that environment and you need that, I think AA is a fantastic place for that. I have a sister who feels like she wouldn't still be sober if she didn't have AA from the beginning, and I think maybe still now she might still be going to meetings regularly, and I think she's in her second year of sobriety. So there are people who it works well for, and then people like me, I can't listen because I'm too empathetic, and these stories really get in me, and then it starts that shame, that depression cycle that starts and leads into some things that I don't need to expose myself to. It's counteractive. So so I get that, but spending time alone and with my spirit.
I wake up every day reminding. I know.
Grateful. My heart is so grateful for what I've been given, totally undeserved, and the redeeming that has been, of a life that could have never been redeemed, so,
you see it every day.
Grateful hearts for those things. And then, so was that it? Was that your self goal, or what did you say for yourself, for you personally, for Riley?
I feel like I'm finally getting to a place where I'm not people pleasing. That is, amazing.
Feels so
going your whole life doing it, just learning, I think with the ADHD stuff that people kind of give it a bad rap. It's not, there's so much more that goes into it. I'm going to research anything that I've been told about myself, and I'm going to dig, and I'm going to look, and I'm going to find. I think a lot of people throw it out there and they think it's, well, we all have it.
No, not everybody doesn't have it. No.
Yeah, everybody's a little scattered every now and then. But this, it's crazy. So, getting to learn that about myself, learning that I don't have to people please, learning that I can stand up for myself. Because, when you're in that addiction, you've got so much shame that you can't stand up for yourself.
Yeah. You don't feel confident enough.
No, because they're going to hold it over your head.
Yeah.
So that's been really good for me. It's just to improve on that and learn about myself and learn what works for me.
Yeah.
And not everybody else.
Yes.
Around me.
That's so powerful. I love that. I think that is the perfect place to end, because I think that is probably my, whole thing for women across the world, starting from a young age. Just use your voice. You have a voice, and you're allowed to use it.
Yes. You can say no
out loud. You can say no. You can set boundaries. You can voice the emotions that you're experiencing, and they're valid, regardless of whether anyone else validates them. You get to say, this emotion, this experience I'm having is causing this emotion, and I don't like it. I don't. I can make this stop. I don't want to continue in this. I'm going to set a boundary here. This will happen no more. We can use our voices, and we can use our voices to share with others and help others, and even to bring more happiness into your life, because you deserve it.
Right.
Like Riley deserves to be happy.
Yeah. That's hard, because
it's hard because you
don't feel like that because of the shame that's left behind. But I'm finally there.
Yeah. Just like everyone else, like anyone else that we love, that had ever had a disease, and it is a disease, you know, they'd ever had a disease that they had struggled through and they had kicked it, I would be so proud of them, and I would be, you know, rallying them and cheering them on, and so supportive, and so grateful that they decided to make that choice and did the hard work, you know. And you need to remember how you would feel towards a loved one and feel that way towards yourself, you know, and be that as proud of you
Yes.
as everyone else is of you.
Right.
Because I'm super proud of you.
Well,
It's like,
I'm proud of you.
I love, like, the more I get to know you, the more I like you. Like, you know, just like it has been a really cool thing, the way that, you know, one connection connects you to another connection, connects you to another connection. And so I've really been grateful for, you know, the connections, this connection that led to me
Yes.
meeting you and becoming friends with you, because it's been a really cool experience. So I hope that this brings you some more business. I'm really excited about everything that y'all have going on, and continuing my physical fitness journey with you.
Yes, I love it. You're
I'm gonna
doing
keep going
great.
till you'll hear me say one day, I love CrossFit.